So in this video, I want to talk about how right now Pokemon investing is at its all-time low. And what I mean by that is just the opportunity out there. There are opportunities for, older releases, but for the new stuff, it's just not there. And this is something I've talked about. I recently told you guys that I haven't bought anything for like over a month now because I've pretty much invested all I wanted to from Scarlet and Violet. Obviously, there's some things at certain price points I'd buy more of, but I'm pretty much done with Scarlet and Violet, and there's not many things I would even consider buying right now. In Sword and Shield, obviously, I was investing into those booster boxes when they were $100, $200. So, Sword and Shield, I've already got all I've wanted. So the only things I would be looking forward to investing into would be the new stuff. Maybe late Scarlet and Violet, like more Destined Rivals, Mega Evolution potentially, depending on the price, right? Phantasmal Flames I've talked about, and Ascended Heroes I've talked about being, in my opinion, the best Mega Evolution set we've seen so far. It'd be something I'd really like to have, but there's a major problem: the price point. And that leads me to make this video and explain why Pokemon investing right now is pretty bad. Because the price points are so high that when you really look at, okay, an example here I'm going to give at the bottom of the screen, the examples of doubling in price, it's extremely high. To the point that, they would have to double. The price point is ridiculous, and that's sort of a metric and sort of a data point I like to use as, okay, is this a good investment right now? Is there some good potential in the near future for this product? I kind of like to see, okay, what does it take to double? And I look at that number, and it's pretty ridiculous how expensive these boxes would need to be to double. So as you can see here, these are just the last booster boxes we've gotten, the last three sets. Destined Rivals, Mega Evolution, and Phantasmal Flames. These are the current market prices. Destined Rivals being $400, Mega Evolution being $245, and Phantasmal Flames being $270. Now, the problem here and why I really haven't invested into any of these except Destined Rivals, which I was able to buy for a little bit under like $220 a box. The starting price is high. And right now, especially right now, the market is not hot. Obviously, you look at everything across the board, we all know everything has gone down, right? So especially at this point, you're taking on higher risk and low reward because, right now the market is pretty uncertain. Back when the market was a little bit stronger, maybe picking up some of these boxes in like the mid 200s wouldn't seem as bad. Also considering, Destined Rivals was in the mid 200s and it went up to like 450. But, especially more than ever now, it's a lot of risk buying at these price points, especially, for example, like Phantasmal Flames. The second wave of supply hasn't even come yet. And there's just not that much reward buying at these price points, which, I'm illustrating here on the bottom of the screen. As you can see, these bullet points, just look at the prices. These would have to reach to double in price. And you tell me, do you realistically, and I know, we're here for the long term, but just look at these prices and you tell me that anything here is that great of an investment as a starting point, because all these sets I'm showing you guys here are within like 6 months old. Destined Rivals maybe a little bit, it's a little older than 6 months, around there. There's still a lot of time, for these sets to age before they go like out of print. So there always is that window and that, air that they could get more reprints. So just look at these prices. 245, which is the lowest price here, Mega Evolution, it has gotten its second wave, to double would be $490. Now, to give you guys some sort of, idea of how expensive this is, guys, Paldea Evolved is almost 3 years old at this point. Paldea Evolved right now is $400 a booster box. And Paldea Evolved, like I said, is almost 3 years old. Mega Evolution, what is it, 4 months old? 3 months old? It's like, you think about it that way and you're like, wow. Like, it just puts it into perspective. The risk and reward just doesn't seem that great. Buying Mega Evolution at 245 and knowing for it to just double, it'd have to go to 490, which Paldea Evolved is not even at right now. I know recently it went down. It was at that price about like a month or so ago, but it's the market right now. It doesn't seem that great of a pickup. Phantasmal Flames 270 to 2x 540, and it obviously it hasn't gotten its second wave of supply, so even more of a reason to not buy right now. And a big one is Destined Rivals. Destined Rivals did get its restock on the Pokemon Center website, which dropped it to like the mid 300s. But now it's gone back up to 400, and to double, it'd have to go to $800. And the only booster box that's around $800 right now from Sword and Shield is what, Fusion Strike. And Fusion Strike is how old? I don't know, that's a little bit of a further comparison, because we're talking about Sword and Shield. But that's what I'm trying to get at here, is that the price points that these boxes are starting at are really unattractive, because there's not low risk, high reward, or even low risk and low reward. Right now, it is high risk, low reward buying at these price points. I mean, you guys see the numbers, it's simply the case. I mean, you think it's realistic that any of these boxes you see here in the next year or so are going to hit these numbers? Unless they don't reprint any of these in Pokemon Booms next year, I don't see any of this happening in the next year or so. I just don't, for any of these products. And especially now when the market could go any way, right? Because we're in a weird spot right now. You're just taking on a lot of risk buying such new boxes at these high price points. And if you don't have anything invested right into these products, and you want to, like me, I want to buy Phantasmal Flames, I want to buy Ascended Heroes, there's no opportunity. You're just taking on too much risk without much reward to be seen. But then that's where there is going to be some cases, and I know it's like been a meme in this whole investing space of just waiting, right? But in these cases, you really just have to wait, because it's literally not worth the risk. You might as well pay up and buy things that are actually out of print, right? You can go back to Sword and Shield, maybe some early Scarlet and Violet stuff, but other than that, there's really no opportunity to buy at these market prices for these new releases, unless you're getting an MSRP, but that's like near impossible still, and you just can't do anything. And that's what I've talked about. I haven't been investing or anything because there's just nothing to buy. All these new releases, things that I want to buy, it's just the price point is just not attractive as an investment in this current market, and there's just really not much you can do about it. It's really strange how we are sort of in not really a bull market anymore. We're sort of in kind of a stable market, but the new releases are still so extremely high. It's I don't know when things are going to change. If booster boxes, if new releases for good sets, when we'll get anywhere close to near or under $200 or anything like that. It seems like we're so far away from it still, even though the market isn't that strong, and in that way it's so strange. But buying new releases at these prices, it's just not it. Obviously, if you just want to have one for your collection, maybe buying one or two of these, it's not going to hurt that much. But strictly from an investment perspective, none of these new releases are attractive at their current market price. And it sucks because, like I said, I mean, some of these I want to have, but just the price they're at, I'm just not buying, because it just doesn't make sense. Because it's just, there's very low reward, at least in the near future, in the next year or so. I really don't see any of these being great buys right now. And I don't think many people are saying buy a Destined Rivals booster box at $400, because I mean that's kind of ridiculous, right? So that's just the issue right now with investing in Pokemon. Obviously, there's opportunity for older stuff, but once you already have the older stuff and you're already satisfied with those, there's really not much to do right now. So you guys can let me know, are you picking up Mega Evolution at $245? I mean, considering the prices of some other sets, it's not the worst thing ever, but I don't see Mega Evolution honestly being a super high flying set, so I'm not really that enticed to pay $245 for a booster box. And obviously Phantasmal Flames still hasn't gotten its second wave of supply yet, so there's no point in buying that. And Destined Rivals at $400, it's not even no one's saying it's a great investment right now. So that's all I want to say in this video. Just Pokemon investing right now. There's no obvious great opportunities for new sets. You just have to go back to the old out of print stuff to be safe. because other than that, you're just taking a lot of risk. So that's all I want to talk about in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.